The Paper Mario series of Nintendo games is one of the few game series where I've played every single entry. The first three games, yes, Super Paper Mario included, are dear to my heart. But I, like many others, was not a fan of the fourth game, Sticker Star, and unfortunately Nintendo opted to continue in the gameplay style it created for the next game in the series, Color Splash. However, Color Splash excelled in one regard, its character dialogue. While their characters were still minimally fleshed out, they were at least pretty funny. However, the most recent entry in this series, the Origami King, managed to bring a pretty great story in addition to fleshed out characters, which was a much needed breath of fresh air for the series. Just a month ago, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door was announced to be getting a remake for the Switch, and fans everywhere have a question. How will the next brand new Paper Mario game play? In this video, I will put forward my personal idea for how it should play. There are 5 aspects of this game that I will go over: overworld gameplay, battle system, characters, world design, and story. With that, let the adventure begin. First things first, the connectivity and exploration of the world should be similar to the Origami King, as it is very fun to simply traverse the overworld in that game. Controllable vehicles like the boat and shoe car can either reappear or be replaced with similar vehicles. Mario should regain his boot abilities, as seen in the first 2 games. In addition, I'd like him to have new hammer abilities. It can still be upgraded like in the previous games, but with each upgrade you'll get a new way to use the hammer in both the overworld and in battle. For example, getting the Super Hammer would give Mario an ability similar to the Hurl Hammer stickers/cards from Sticker Star and Color Splash. This would allow him to hit buttons on the ceiling or initiate first strikes on flying enemies. Upon getting the Ultra Hammer, he would be able to throw his hammer horizontally and smash through certain rocks. This move would deal more damage in battle and when initiating first strikes. And while we're at it, why not add a shop in the hub that lets you customize the look of your hammer? Just for fun. Partners, and thereby their overworld abilities, should also make a grand return. Although I think lowering the total number of them could be very beneficial on a writing and story front, which I'll get into more later. In a first for the series, I think it might be interesting to have partners be able to swap positions with Mario in the order of who walks ahead, similar to the very first Mario and Luigi game. Doing this would allow each partner to have multiple overworld abilities instead of just one. For example, let's say that this technique was possible in the first Paper Mario. In that game, Sushi the Cheep Cheep was able to let Mario travel across small gaps of water. However, if she and Mario swapped places, she could also be able to spit a stream of water that would extinguish fire, allowing for more types of puzzles in the overworld. This is just one example, and I believe that the possibilities for this are limitless. With that, I'm done with overworld gameplay, and it's time to move on to the battle system. The battle system will be nearly the exact same system established in the Thousand Year Door, with a couple alterations that I think will spice up gameplay. Thousand Year Door used an audience that sometimes participated in the battle by throwing things on stage at either Mario or the enemy. Hooktail even eats some of the audience, disturbingly. I'd like to revise this slightly. While battles in TTYD happen in an indoor theater with almost any NPC being able to throw rocks at Mario, I'd like to take a page out of Origami King's book and move the battles outdoors into an amphitheater-inspired setting. In these battles, there will be 2 audiences of sorts, one on the side of Mario and friends, and one on the side of the enemy. Each is influenced by an engagement level. This time, both Mario and certain enemies can attempt to do stylish attacks or guards. If Mario lands a stylish attack, his audience will become more hyped, and the chances of throwing coins or healing items for him increases. In exchange, the enemy's audience becomes bored, and either throws rocks at Mario or the enemy if they get bored enough. It acts the same in vice versa. The enemy's audience will hype up and heal their side if the enemy is stylish enough. I think this will go a long way towards spicing up the battles, but let me know what you think of these changes in the comments. some smaller things related to battles to clear up before moving on. Partners will have HP again like TTYD, badges will return, and some battles will feature an extra character popping in to help out. More on that later. Now then, on to Chapter 3. The characters of this game will be as visually unique as they are in TTYD, but I think the writing of Origami King struck a perfect balance between comedy and seriousness. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to cut down on the amount of partners in this game. The original game had 8, so I'm thinking of cutting that in half to 4. The reasoning for this is the hope that we get to spend more time with each partner, allowing them to develop in ways they previously couldn't. For example, characters like Sushi and Lakalester were severely underdeveloped, and really only joined so that there was something new gameplay-wise. However, I could imagine scenarios like Origami King where an extra character tags along for a certain segment of the story. Luigi could join up to help in a haunted mansion type area, Yoshi could appear in a forest setting, and even classic partners from previous games could reappear to help out. Basically, I want the partners to have real importance to the story. Besides Vivian, who actually has a change of heart, usually they just tag along because Mario is famous or something. As an example of how the characters can improve, let's think of a scenario where there's a new Goomba partner. We'll call him Goombart. However, at some point it is revealed that he is actually a spy for the enemy and is just pretending to be Mario's partner. At this same time in the story, let's say Goombario tags along for a section of the game, and he and Mario are captured by Goombart, who reveals his true identity as a double agent. Imagine a scene where Goombario convinces Goombart to change his ways and truly join Mario on his adventure. I know this is almost 100% never going to happen, but someone in the comments of my open world Mario video told me to expand my horizons for these videos, so I'm taking their advice. And on that note, on to Chapter 4. I want the world of this game to be a sort of spin on the premise of Mario Sunshine. Mario and friends fly to an archipelago of islands with a central industrial-esque seaport for a vacation. While Mario is staying, he is informed of a secret threat that has a hold on the islands, and he is given a request to help root out the evil. Mario then sets out on his adventure through the Pielago Isles. The archipelago is made up of 6 islands. The name Pielago is taken from the final letters of the word archipelago in Spanish. By the way, I want this world to have Spanish influences in much of its architecture, names, and colors. Due to the small scale, however, I don't think I got it entirely across in the pixel art, but just know that that's what I was going for. It would make the setting very unique amongst the entire Mario franchise. The Pielago Isles are in the process of being commercialized, with a company made up mainly of craws from the Thousand Year Door being responsible for the transformation of each area. Port Pielago is the seaport at the center of the first island. It runs off energy that's refined by factories on the borders of the port. Pielago Palace is the centerpiece of the town, with shops around it. It's also said that catacombs run under the palace, leading to hidden tombs and great treasure. Branching from the center reveals a dense forested island to the east, with multicolored leaves scattered across the greenwood. This is the Bosque Forest, a wood that has yet to be revamped by the Craw Corporation. Yoshis have settled here, and their small village has been attacked by Shy Guys and a leader, Big Guy. Mario has to beat them and save the village with help from Yoshi and Goombart, his first partner. The next island features the Marble Mountains, chalk-white cliffs that surround an archaeological dig site. Unbeknownst to Mario, there may be a secret enemy hideout that is looking into something special about the ruins. The next island is between Port Pielago and Bosque Island, and while it's small, it's also home to the luxurious Royal Hotel that has been modeled after Princess Peach's castle from the Mushroom Kingdom. It would be where Mario and crew stay for their vacation, but somehow, every employee was replaced by Duplighosts, and Mario has to locate the entire workforce and save them from captivity. The fourth island, Kavra Island, holds an amusement park with a theme of archaeology. Mario and the gang are forced to take part in a full run-through of the park's attractions to figure out what they need, but the mines prove troublesome along the way. The sixth and final island is shrouded in a dense fog that no one has been able to navigate, and only after clearing all other areas is Mario able to venture inside, where the final battle in a crystalline castle awaits. With that, let's move on to Chapter 5. Today we will discuss the story of the Pielago Isles and of the heroes who saved them. Kind of, because I don't have a certain idea as to how the story will work. I know I want the threat to the islands to be a sort of secret mission that Mario is engaging in during the adventure, but I'm not sure what the circumstances of the boss fights will be. For example, Paper Mario games usually involve getting 6 or 7 collectibles that do something to either advance the story or defeat the final boss. So, I'm going to put up a poll in a community post on the channel with 3 options. Should this Paper Mario game have 6 collectibles that are used to beat the final boss, 6 collectibles that are used to open a door or a path to the final boss, or 6 objects that are destroyed in order to unlock the final boss? It's up to you, but I will conclude with the general tone I'd like the story to have. I want the story to be just a little more serious than Origami King. Personally, I think it'd be hilarious to keep some of those dance segments and the witty dialogue that was present throughout, but the threat should be more serious. Super Paper Mario went very hard on that aspect of the story. Sammer's kingdom was erased, and while I don't think something as horrifying as that has to happen, having a location go through some form of destruction or invasion later in the story would do well to spice it up. I also didn't go over who the partners would be besides Goombart, and that's another suggestion y'all can give in the comments. With that, my idea for the next Paper Mario game is complete. Thank you all so much for watching all the way to the end. I'm sorry it took so long for this video to come out. I got busy with the new school semester starting back, but I hope to come up with another new video as soon as possible. Be sure to like, comment, and vote on that community post. See you next time.